DJ and PK, we're joined now by Greg Bedard, New England Patriots writer, analyst for and founder of BostonSportsJournal.com, here to talk about the AFC East as we gear up for the upcoming NFL season. Greg, good morning.
Morning, guys. How are we doing?
We're doing well. We were just talking about the amount of passion that ebbs and flows with winning and losing. There's some lifers, and nobody's felt certainly the ebb now than the Patriots. How's everybody adjusting to the new world order, changing coaches like other teams change coaches, changing quarterbacks like other teams change quarterbacks after 2 decades of really unprecedented success?
Not well, to be honest. I mean, I think that, the Patriots fans, especially the young ones, I mean, there were a lot of kids who went through high school, college, who knew nothing but the Patriots being in conference championship games and Super Bowls. And, when that happened, they were able to puff out their chest a lot and look down at a lot of people. And I think they enjoyed that view for a long time. And then to all of a sudden be knocked down quite a few pegs in recent years, that wasn't fun for them. They like to be the bullies. They like to talk trash, and they were able to do that, and they couldn't anymore. And they're hoping Mike Vrabel brings that back.
What's the belief level in Drake May?
I think it's certainly among the fans a lot. I mean, he's the hope. Among the coaches, it's really good. I mean, I think that the sky's the limit. I mean, I think that people don't realize, you can compare him to the other guys in his draft class, like Jaden Daniels, but the biggest difference was, and the Patriots knew this, when he was coming out. I mean, Drake May is still just 22 years old. He did not play, comparatively speaking, to like a Jaden Daniels or even a J.J. McCarthy. He did not play a lot of football the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, even in high school, for example, during COVID, J.J. McCarthy went down to Florida. He transferred to IMG Academy so he could continue to play. Drake May didn't do that, and he didn't have a football season his senior year, and then he goes to North Carolina. He redshirts, so he basically doesn't play for 2 years. And then he started the last 2 years. So before last year, he had started 2 of the previous 4 football seasons as a young kid. So the talent is there. The intangibles are there. Can he put it all together with Josh McDaniels? I think so. But a lot of things are going to have to go right, up front with the receivers, things like that, to, allow him to really take a step forward.
Khyiris Tonga has been in the league now. He went to BYU, and he's been in the league for 4 years. He played for 3 different teams, the Bears, Vikings, and the Cardinals. He's landed in New England. Where does he fit in there, and how does that defensive line look?
Yeah, well, I didn't know much about him before they signed him, but obviously somebody had their eye on him because they sort of quickly pounced on him. He's really the only quote-unquote run-stuffing defensive tackle that they have. And, and I know he can do more than that, watching him in one-on-ones with the offensive line the past couple of days. I've been surprised at his level of pass rush that he can bring, but really he's the only lone run stuffer. The Patriots decided to move on from Devon Godchaux, who was their nose tackle for a lot of time. We didn't know. We don't know exactly what Mike Vrabel's going to do up front. Traditionally his defensive haven't been that great against the run, but it looks like it's a departure from the Bill Belichick system that they ran for years. They're going to create a lot of havoc up front, really get up the field. But there are going to be times where they have to, really stop the run. And Tonga is going to be a huge part of that.
What did they win? 3 games last year? Was that what it was?
4.
4. My bad.
4. No, I mean, the last one, the 4th one, which cost them a very high draft pick, was the Joe Milton throwaway game in the final week of the season, Gerard Mayo's final game. So there's a lot of Patriots fans who would like to forget about that 4th victory, actually.
Yeah, see, that's what it was. The point I was going to make, though, outside of the Bills, they're not in the most difficult conference there. So are there wins to be had to the level of they can see some progress? Because that's what it's all about. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to expect. Vrabel's a tough guy. We understand that, and he's had success. But I don't think people are talking about playoff. So they can find maybe some 2 or 3 more wins and call it at least a progression of a season. Well, I guess it's up to you if you want to call it a successful season.
Actually, you might be surprised because that might be the national view, but the local view, and including my view, is I think this team should take a substantial step forward this year. And if they're not competing for the postseason, somewhere around, let's call it 8, 9, 10 wins, I think that would be a disappointment, for a couple of different reasons. Number one, they were a 3 or 4 win team last year and the year before. But I think there were certainly a number of games that with a more competent coach, they would have won than Gerard Mayo, who was not ready for the job. There was dysfunction on the coaching staff. It wasn't a good coaching staff. A lot of players took a step backwards last year, did not improve. Now with Vrabel here, Josh McDaniels, Vrabel's old defensive staff in Tennessee, they have Doug Marone's coaching the offensive line. They have 3 offensive line coaches where they barely could scrape together one over the past couple of years, with guys needing to take absences and things like that. I think the coaching is going to be a lot better. They did a really nice job at free agency. They basically did what the Commanders did last year, which was they signed a bunch of mid-level guys, but guys that people on the coaching staff that they knew the guys and could vouch for them, and they know what they're going to get. Basically, they copied what the Washington Commanders did when Dan Quinn was hired, and we saw the results of that. The Commanders went from 4 wins to 12 wins, and they were in the NFC Championship game. Now, I'm expecting that. No, but and it's not just because of that. Their schedule is incredibly weak. Take a look at it. Especially at home, they should be able to reel off a bunch of wins. So, I expect Mike Vrabel to, get this thing going in the right direction quickly. And, they at least need to be in it towards the last week of the season. If they're not, a lot of people around here are going to be disappointed.
PK grew up in Jersey, and he always says everybody's got an opinion, but unless you're holding a ticket and you put money on it, who cares about your opinion? And I saw the odds to win the division last night, looking around at stuff, knowing you were coming on, and the Bills were obviously heavy, heavy favorites to win the division. But the next best odds were the Patriots, then the Dolphins, then the Jets. Now, Miami, they've been touted and disappointed in 500-ish, and Tua can't stay healthy, and that's a huge factor. But I was surprised to see the Patriots second, but I guess it goes to everything you were just talking about, because the people who are putting money down, somebody is betting. Maybe it's a lot of local money in Boston, but somebody is betting on the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, their Vegas over-under is 8.5. I mean, I think that's pretty accurate. I think, my initial pass-through on their schedule, I said, I just go through it and I don't, think about, I just look at the end of the day when I get to the schedule, what I had 11 to 6. And now that was before Aaron Rodgers signed with the Steelers, who they play in week 3. If it was Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers in week 16, I might have kept that, but Rodgers should be healthy. He shouldn't implode that team by that time. But, I mean, the division, that's another big reason. I mean, I've seen Justin Fields plenty over the years. He's the new Jets quarterback. He stinks. He's not good. Now, he beat the Patriots once, when he was with the Bears. But he has these games, like 1 every out of 8, where he looks like a competent quarterback. The Dolphins feel like they're about to implode down there with, they traded away Jalen Ramsey and other guys, and Tyreek Hill, who knows if he still wants to trade. Like, it just seems like that's hanging on by a thread, plus to his health. The Patriots have a lot to sort out, especially on the offensive line. But, if they can get that figured out, they should be pretty competitive. Now, I'm not going to pick them to upset the Bills, at least in the division. Could they steal one from them? Yeah, I mean, Mac Jones, when things were not good here, had one of his best wins when he came back and beat Josh Allen and the Bills at Gillette. And so I don't rule them splitting with the Bills. So, but I think it's a team on the upswing, and they're hoping to capture the same magic that the Commanders did last year.
You mentioned the Jets and their quarterback fields. Doesn't it seem like some teams, if they don't have a quarterback, they run through several, and it takes several years before they finally get one? It's an amazing phenomenon in this league.
Yeah, I mean that's where the Patriots messed this up. I mean before I covered the Patriots, I covered the Packers, and there was nobody better at the Packers than taking guys early. Whether it was when I was there, Aaron Rodgers behind Brett Favre, and then they took Jordan Love. We'll ultimately see where Jordan Love is, but I mean, really, if you want to look at besides letting Tom Brady go and not signing him, where this Patriots dynasty sort of ran out of gas was when Bill Belichick had to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, I think that Kraft basically made him trade Jimmy Garoppolo and stick with Tom, but that was one thing. But the problem is that Belichick threw a hissy fit and didn't draft a quarterback again. He could have had Lamar Jackson in the next draft and could have gotten him ready behind them. Instead, he did nothing, to the point when Tom Brady left, he paid Cam Newton like $1 million for one season, and that was a disaster. And then Mac Jones and the coaching around him with Matt Patricia. I mean, the Patriots were on their way until they, fell into Drake May, and I think it was a no-doubter. And I think luckily for them, at least Drake should be the guy to at least, in the short term that gets this thing turned around. But they were headed down there too until they sort of lucked into Drake May.
University of Utah has cranked out a lot of really good defensive backs. Miles Battle was on the roster, and you were saying guys didn't develop last year. Some guys went backwards, and he barely played.
Yeah.
Is he the kind of guy, diamond in the rough, the new coaching staff will appreciate him blossom, or he's on his way out of town? What happens, you think?
Yeah, I think Miles came on the roster towards the middle or late last season, if I remember correctly. He missed a bunch of the off season with some sort of injury, which probably set him back a little bit. He's been out there since camp started. Has shown up a few times. There's a lot of competition behind Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis at cornerback. So, Miles has as good a chance as anybody. He just needs to stay on the field.
Well, Greg, we appreciate a few minutes on the AFC East and the New England Patriots. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Greg Bedard, New England Patriots writer, analyst, and founder of BostonSportsJournal.com. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Coming up at the top of the hour, the local schools are open in camp. Scotty G is going to join us. He had the basketball coach, Jared Calhoun, on the air making a little bit of news yesterday and throwing down the gauntlet on the AD. We'll talk with Scotty G about that at the top of the hour. Stay with us.